You're always my first call. So many different places. Some of the days with you guys are like 14 minutes long. Like, I'm down.
But it was like working with Zoe. It was her first time directing, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it certainly didn't feel like that. I mean, she's very natural. She's so interested in film, all kinds of film, not just the genre that we were doing. And then the other interesting thing is she's really interested in interior design also. So we had a lot of talks about that from the beginning, because Channing Tatum's character, Slater King, is a little obsessed with that. So we actually had to sort of create a character which was his designer, his interior decorator, which, even though he doesn't appear ever in the movie, but there's sort of a presence of this fictitious designer. So it was kind of like, sometimes actors speak about method acting. And this is a little bit like a method art directing, in the sense that I was trying to put on a mixture of creative personality to design what this guy would want.
That's so interesting. Yeah. And when you think about Zoe, I was curious, like, is she pretty hands-on, or or was, in compared to other directors you've worked with?
I think she's very hands-on with many aspects of the sets. I think in the terms of working with me, it was more throwing out some big ideas, but then it was the art department's job to actually get it into something that worked physically on set. But she had a very clear vision from the beginning, and I think she's very determined to make this particular location work, which was not what she had in mind when she wrote it. And she found it and saw it, and then she showed it to me and to Adam, DP, and we both loved it. And we said, we have to go in this direction, because we will give more depth to Slater King, to make him more of a sort of not so superficial, that he had just some depth to him. There's some interest in past and design and culture and all of this.
Let me know when it's produced.
So we did that. Okay.
That's very cool. Have you seen the movie yet?
I saw a first cut, but I've heard this one is very different.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you to see it. Congratulations. Have a good night. Thank
For a lot of different reasons, but one of those reasons it's going to be a lot better on the See, I'm excited to see it. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, that was when we had the I think so.
Yeah, if you can. Or if you do.
Thanks, dude.
What's that? I found it from Max.
mixed in a little fishbowl.
Yeah.
So like, that's where you.
Yeah, they meant a little bit higher.
What is the worst thing that I could do, or the weirdest thing that I could do? I think the best thing though is just like if you feel confident something like I heard about the film, so I've worked for a while, so I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
This movie was
Okay.
Yeah, we're with Whitman. Social ones.
It was amazing.
You're looking great.
Everybody's a buddy.
Everybody's buddy. I have to start off. This film is really dramatic.
We're all in the same location together, so we ended up having to get to know each other, bond. We had breakfast, lunch, dinners all in the same place. And we would do like little tours around the Yucatan, which was amazing. We went diving. So she wanted to survive with this movie.
They don't call each other?
It's a group chat.
That was a lot of words. Why is it so important for people to come out and see this film in theaters and not just it's also beautiful.
I thought I was going to get down to a couple hours salad. Very nice. It's kind of just
Now I know the huge audition process for $7 and other things. However, if you could play a different role than the one you played,
I know, and then you wake up in the morning orders. Yeah, it was very stimulating.
there you go. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
All the best.
This one was nice to reach away.
Everybody professionalism, creativity, and expertise, and she used all of her skills I think that she's learned as she's grown up to complement the rest of her work.
This one's a wild ride, so you have to give me anything. How would you describe this movie as people hearing about it for the first time?
Disney. You know, and I've never necessarily been a franchise guy. Not saying I love but this was very unique and very special and something new and always exciting to be part of something.
Yeah, this one layers on the land.
Yes, yes.
There's only some incredible support.
This guy, it's just amazing. They're all dinner together. When they go on outings together. There's a lot of so one thing that you know, working on a prostitution and something like we were forced this whole time to bond and to be together, which was different and wonderful.
And I think our social team has a couple of questions for you directly on Friday. And we have to like get pulled away. Could you just describe this movie? It's so funny. It's just I gotta give it to you. Some people go, Love Island, blink twice. Thanks so much, Christian. Congratulations, man. Just to ease our way into more.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
good.
Yeah.
I like the pin.
I'm trying it out.
Is it just for decoration or?
Yeah, it's
Decoration, talking about
swirly
fashion.
little thing.
For fashion.
Yeah, fashion.
Yeah. So talk to me, you know, this movie was so interesting in that, like, it's very funny, but it obviously gets extremely dark and poignant. What is, like, the secret for you to kind of threading that needle of working, you know,
well, I mean, we all knew going in what it was that we were going to be a part of. So I think the secret of threading that needle is just making sure that everybody feels safe with everybody, you know. And the unique thing about this particular experience is that we were all in the same location together. So we all got to know each other so well. And I think there was a great deal of respect, trust, and nobody wanted to make anyone feel uncomfortable or unsafe in any way. And in this type of project, you know, there were certainly moments that, you know, we were performing that and servicing the story, but always making sure that everybody felt safe.
Did you kind of shoot the heavier scenes in a, like, together, and then most of it, or was it all sort of just?
No, it was all like usual, mixed around, and you know, and there weren't really too many horrible moments, but we all sat down, talked about those moments, and just wanted to make sure everybody felt heard and protected and cared for and respected.
And Trevor, are you sad that the Pussy Island didn't stick?
I like that title. I mean, I did like that title. I thought it referred more to the guys than it did, you know. I mean, it's like the guys were kind of the peas, and, you know, on this particular island. I thought the women were badass, you know, so I kind of twisted it in my head that way.
Maybe it was supposed to be, like, if you don't know, you know, it's open to interpretation.
It's open to interpretation, and that was my interpretation. I actually tried to work that line in there, saying I was the biggest one on the island, but yeah, didn't make it.
It went out with the title.
Yeah, it did.
Sorry. I mean, funny is like a weird phrase. Super funny, but it was, and it was interesting because it's actually kind of reminded me of Tusk a little bit in that, like, you think you're getting one thing, and
That's
then it's
right.
like, you know, I went in very, like, blind to this, so.
I'm glad. That's what we want people to do.
I think it's good, yeah. But talk to me a little bit about, like, sort of threading that needle of kind of broaching heavy subjects, but then also keeping it funny. Like, what's the secret to that, you know?
I think, you know, no matter what movie you're making, you got to have some humor to keep people, you know. I mean, we have a lot of humor in this movie, and even though a lot of intense things happen, I mean, the characters are funny and witty and charismatic, and you know, the group of actors that portrayed them are just wonderful group of people too. So I like that whatever happens in the movie, I think you get a sense of how connected we all were and how much we enjoyed each other's company out there.
Was there anybody that you kind of bonded with in particular?
It really felt like a unit, you know, and we had a lot of opportunities to spend time together in different configurations because, you know, some people would be we were living on set, and so some people would be shooting and some people would, you know, one of the most memorable days is Simon and I had one day off together. We went to Chichen Itza a couple hours away from set, and that was a particularly wonderful day.
That's cool.
It was a lot like summer camp.
I love that. And I'm dying to ask if you've been following the like online conversation about the Kendrick Drake.
Just a little bit. It's in my text inbox, that's for sure. I was shooting in Ireland when all that happened, and I got like 100 texts in the middle of the night. What's going on?
Do you think it was intentional, or did he mess up your...
I think he's too precise. I mean, I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to assume that he, you know, knows my exact name, but the way I've heard people talk about that and certain analysis that I've read about it, I think that it's an intentional scrambling of my name and that other guy's name, because Kendrick's too precise to just make a mistake like that.
Sure. And just to wrap up, I was curious for the video game actor strike, you know, if that's been kind of interesting for you to kind of being part of both of those worlds, having been in the actor strike last year, and then this one, if I don't know, if you see a difference in terms of sort of like, obviously the public kind of like perception of it or attention given.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately there's a lot less attention on it because last summer was, you know, just a larger number of people in those unions going on strike at the same time. But the issues are the same. I mean, these, you know, the big powers in our industry, I think, have too easily taken for granted the work that people do. And, you know, people aren't fighting for this giant increase in pay. It's really just to keep things barely like they've been for the last generation or so. And, you know, I get checks, residual checks from things I did, little things I did in the 90s that, I mean, dwarf the projects that you do now on big streamers where you don't get any residuals. And video game actors are in the same situation. So I just hope that the powers that be aren't too short-sighted, because if you drive those artists out of the industry and they can't make a living, we're not going to be left with it. AI can't replace them as much as certain technical things.
I know. It's crazy to me that the unions are left to like fend for like get it on the AI stuff. You know, it's like that there's no like bigger oversight from the government.
I mean, AI can be a lot of different things, but it was really wild that the first application, you know, this kind of another pump and dump scheme from Silicon Valley was we're going to replace artists. We don't need artists anymore. Like, why would that be the first thing you do? Go cure diseases.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
You too. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. You were so great in this. Yeah. You guys had like such like a chemistry that was just so palpable. I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about working with Zoe. What kind of director she was. Obviously, it's her first time.
Yeah. I mean, she killed it for being her first time and just in general. Yeah, she's such a great director, and I can't wait to see where she goes after this. But you know, I keep saying that I felt very protected by her. She like caters on the and I think she just tells me she's super empathetic, and I think that really, you know, helped me out being my first big film. And she's just a genius.
I love that. And talk to me a little bit about, like, she talked about how she started writing this before Harvey Weinstein, all of that, and sort of the transition that's happened. Are you hopeful about kind of the progress that's been made since then, or do you feel like there's still a lot of way to go?
I mean, there's definitely still a lot of way to go, but yeah, I just, you know, I hope people go see this film and then have fun seeing it, watching it, and then when they go home to, you know, hopefully recognize some things in their personal life that maybe they didn't recognize before. So.
Are you sad about Pussy Island not making it?
No, but the spirit of the film is like still the same, so you know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.